I love that. Singing Sweet Caroline. Well, today we are going to lay down on our mats. So if you want to just lay down, get into a comfortable position. And then take just a nice deep breath, starting to bring your awareness to this space and time. Last night I was with a bunch of kids and we talked through there's a grounding tool that uses 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with your senses. And so if you want to do that now while you're just taking some deep breaths, maybe think about 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel or touch, 3 things you can hear, maybe 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste as you sit and reflect. Today we're taking a little bit of time for reflection. One of the things that I learned throughout my own yoga practice has been this practice of kind of checking in with yourself, but also gauging and reading my own emotional state. And so I look at the situation and I understand what emotions I'm feeling and how strongly I'm feeling those emotions, and see if it matches the situation that is present. So, for example, maybe I'm up early, I'm very stressed, there's lots of things going on at work, and my child comes out early in the morning. I've been making lunches and breakfast and, getting all the things ready for the day, and they make a request of me. And my emotional state is already heightened and stressed and kind of panicked a little bit or overwhelmed. And so the response that I have to my child is, I'm like, I can't do that right now. Maybe I'm just like over the top, right, with the response. It's not the child's fault that they made that request. It is, that's something for me to examine and to say, what's going on there? What was that an appropriate response to that child? Is that something that I need to pay attention to? And so today we're going to be talking through this process of evaluating those emotions as we move our bodies and helping ourselves to calm down, examine what's been happening, and then taking care of ourselves in that and either apologizing or letting go of that moment. So as you lay here, we're going to go ahead and take our feet to the mat. I would love to invite you to place your hands on your belly. And then just think about deepening your breath. Maybe feeling the rise and fall of your belly. Sometimes that's easier to do when our hands are actually on our belly. And then you're going to go ahead and take those hands down to the mat on either side of you. You're going to use those palms to press them into the mat slightly for a little bit of support. And you're going to draw your feet up onto their tippy toes. And when you do that, you're going to feel your core engage. So you're going to feel all these abdominal wall muscles just tighten slightly. And then I'm going to invite you to lift your shins up toward the ceiling, so they're facing the ceiling. So you've got a right angle here with your knees. Your knees are over top of your hips. Like I said, your shins are facing the ceiling. Your abdominal wall is engaged. Maybe you're thinking about your low back space, checking in with that space, making sure that you're not overcompensating. And if you are, then just bring your knees into your chest a little bit further, so that way that protects your low back space. And then as you, again, press your palms into the mat slightly for support, you're gonna take one toe down to the mat at a time, and then bring it back up. And then alternate, taking the other toe down to the mat and bringing it back up. Again, really focusing on the abdomen, engaging that core, protecting that low back space. You might be feeling this in your thighs as well. Continuing to breathe while you do this little warming up exercise. We want to be really intentional with these motions, not going too fast. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and bring both sets of toes back down to the mat. Allow the sole of your feet to come down, release that abdominal wall. Take your arms up overhead and inhale deeply. And then exhale as you bring your arms down alongside your body once more. We're going to take the right foot up toward the ceiling. And we're going to go ahead and place our hands on either side of our leg and help draw that into our chest slightly. And if you need to keep a bend in your knee while you do this, feel free to do that. Just doing what you can, just accepting wherever you're at today. Taking a deep breath. And then go ahead and fold that ankle across the other knee. You're going to draw that low body in towards your chest for reclined pigeon pose. And if it feels comfortable here, you can go ahead and start to rock back and forth across that low back. And while you do this, I would encourage you to check in with yourself. So what feelings are you feeling right now? What emotions do you have? Hey, come on in.
Or drop off some peanut butter.
Oh,
Okay.
and then when you're ready, you can come back to center. Go ahead and drop both legs, both feet down to the mat again. Take your palms down alongside your body, pressing them gently into the mat. And then again, bringing your knees up over top of your hips, so that way your shins are facing the ceiling once more. You should be feeling that engagement again across your abdominal wall. And then here again, you're going to start to take one set of toes down to the mat and then bring them up. And then the other set of toes and bringing them up. Just going at your own pace, continuing to breathe. Checking in with that low back space. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and take both sets of feet down, both feet, not both sets of feet, down to the mat, releasing that abdominal wall. You're going to take that left foot up toward the ceiling this time. Go ahead and support with your hands if you would like, pulling that in towards your chest just slightly. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and bend that knee, crossing that ankle over top of the opposite knee. And then drawing that low body in toward your chest. Again, taking a moment to check in with yourself. What are you feeling right now? Maybe you're feeling calm. Maybe you're feeling joyful. Maybe your mind is elsewhere and so you're feeling stressed or anxious. But don't judge yourself, just check in and just notice what those emotions are that are coming up. And if you would like, you can go ahead and rock back and forth across your low back from side to side here. And then go ahead and come back to center, releasing both feet down to the mat. Again, inhaling, arms up overhead. And then exhaling as you sweep those arms down alongside your body. We're going to go ahead and turn onto one side. We're going to take our the bottom arm underneath our head, kind of like a little pillow, and take that top arm straight out in front of you. And then when you're ready, you're going to try to keep your fingertips on the mat, even though that won't be possible all the way around, but then draw a really big circle all the way around you. Maybe doing 3 or 4 of those at your own pace. Just nice, slow, big circles. So going back to my example that I gave earlier today, thinking about that moment of feeling stressed and then having yet another request, placed on you. I was thinking about this next step of the first step is always get calm, right? When you're ready, you can go ahead and place your palm on the mat. You're going to draw that in towards you, and then you're going to help push yourself up into a seated position. And in that moment, you can go ahead and come into butterfly pose with your feet together, either bouncing your knees, or you can fold forward using your elbows to press those knees gently down toward the ground. But in that moment, first step of getting calm, next step is examining what happened. So was it minor or was it serious? And what am I feeling? And then what am I believing in that moment? So maybe in that moment I was believing I'm not going to get it all done, or I feel overwhelmed, and like the truth is that I can't do it all. And so then telling ourselves the truth in that moment of what is the truth? Do I have to get all of this done? Is that necessary? Or maybe reminding ourselves of the truth that we have everything inside of us that we need for the present moment. When you're ready, you can go ahead and walk your hands towards center, sitting up out of that, helping your knees kind of come together. I'm going to lay down on the opposite side this time. Again, creating a little pillow for your head. Taking that top arm out in front of you. And then starting to draw those big circles once more. Doing 3 or 4 of those. A nice stretch on that shoulder. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and place your palm on the mat in front of you. Draw that hand in toward your body. Sit back up into that seated position. This time we're taking our legs into an open A position here. We're going to sit nice and tall, thinking about those shoulders being down away from our ears. And if you can think about it, tucking your tailbone slightly, which actually, again, engages all of this abdominal wall, like a little belt across the front of you. And then start to lean forward, hinging from your hips, placing your hands on the mat in front of you if you can. And just coming as far as you can. And if you'd like, you can take that and explore it a little bit further. Taking some deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk your hands back towards center. You're going to take both feet together once more for butterfly pose. Again, either bouncing your knees or rolling forward if you can. Taking another deep breath here. And then go ahead and sit up out of that. We're going to take our hands to the outside of our knees, help those knees together, sweep those knees to the side so we can come up onto our knees. So we're at the back of our mat. We're going to be standing on our knees here for a moment. Again, thinking about our posture, about elongating that spine, sitting nice and tall, creating a little bit of space in between each vertebrae. And then pulling that belly button in toward your spine. That's going to keep your pelvic bone in neutral position. And then go ahead and inhale both arms up. Leaving those arms up, we're going to go ahead and exhale and step forward with our right foot. And then take those hands down on either side of that right foot. And inhaling, we're going to tuck the back toes. And then exhaling, we're going to come into runner's lunge. Inhaling, we're going to blade that back foot. And then exhaling, we're going to come up into warrior two. And go ahead and inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale and fold forward as you turn toward the long edge of your mat. We're going to stay here for several deep breaths. Just nice and slow. See if you can kind of slow down your breath here. And then coming down onto our right side, we're going to bend that right knee deeply. Allow the left toes to come up. And then go ahead and take those hands out straight in front of you for the flying monkey pose. If you can, go ahead and leave your hands out in front of you as we come back to that wide open A. If not, feel free to place your hands on the mat in front of you and lift your hips once more, coming back towards the center, tucking that chin, allowing the crown of the head to fall down toward the mat. And then turning those the right toes toward the short edge of the mat. You're gonna walk your hands around for pyramid pose. Then allowing the heel of the left foot to come up. You're going to turn both sets of toes toward that short edge of the mat, bending that front foot, coming back into runner's lunge. Then go ahead and take that back knee, let it come down to the mat, untuck the toes. And you're going to step that right foot back to meet the left foot. Walking your hands back towards your knees, you're going to round yourself up. Coming back into standing knee pose at the back of the mat. Very good. So thinking again about elongating that spine, shoulders are down away from the ears. Your belly button is pulled in toward your spine. And go ahead and inhale both arms up. Bringing your biceps along your ears, alongside your ears. Leaving those hands there, we're going to step forward with the left foot. Exhaling those hands down to either side of that front foot. And then inhaling, straightening the back toes. And then exhaling and straightening the back leg. And go ahead and lay that back foot as you inhale. And then exhale as you wheel those hands up into warrior two. Inhale and straighten that front leg. Then turn both feet toward the long edge of the mat and fold forward. Turn around so I can continue to face you all. Again, staying here for several deep breaths. So as we work through these steps, thinking about these moments when we recognize that we're overreacting or we're just reacting and not actually responding to a situation. The steps are to get calm, examine what happened, and then to take care of ourselves in that moment. Go ahead and walk your hands toward your left foot, this time bending the left knee deeply, allowing the right toes to come up toward the ceiling. Then again, taking those hands out in front of you if you can for flying monkey pose. Then lifting back into center, coming back into our wide open A. Then turning those left toes toward the short edge of the mat. You're going to walk your hands around to either side of that left foot, coming into pyramid pose on the other side. Then allowing the back heel of the right foot to come up, turning those toes also toward the short edge of the mat. Go ahead and bend that front knee, coming back into runner's lunge. And then you're going to drop the back knee, untuck the back toes, then step that left foot back to meet the right. Walking your hands back towards your knees, rounding yourself up slowly. Head should be the very last thing that comes up. And go ahead and inhale both arms up. And then take them down to either side as you exhale. Very good. We're going to go ahead and step our left foot forward. And we're just going to stand up into the back of the mat here for our next series of things. So we're going to stand at the back of the mat. We're going to rock back and forth across those feet until we find a comfortable place to just help our feet settle in, where we feel really grounded. And then we're going to inhale both arms up. Interlacing those fingers, go ahead and pull off to one side as you exhale. Inhale back to center. And then pull off to the other side as you exhale. Then coming back to center, inhale. And then release those arms down as you exhale. And step forward with our left foot this time. We're allowing the back heel to come up. And if you can, we're going to take our hands to our hips, or you can take them out to either side if you would like. We're going to try to bend this back knee, coming into a deeper lunge, and then straightening it up into, this is a crescent lunge pose. So if you would like, You can do maybe 5 or 6 of those, only coming down as far as feels comfortable to you. Again, just exploring what your body's able to do, checking in with your emotions and what story you're telling yourself in the midst of that. Reminding yourself that it's enough, whatever you can do. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and bring that back leg in just slightly so we can set the back heel down. And then we're going to fold forward over top of that front leg. So either you can place your hands on your legs somewhere to give you some support, or on either side of that front foot for triangle pose. When you're ready, you're going to go ahead and bend that front knee. You're going to lift your upper body up as you step forward. So meet that foot in the front. Now we're at the front of the mat. We're going to do a sun salutation A. So actually, no, we're doing a sun salutation B because we're doing the chair pose with it. So inhale, arms up, palms together. Exhale all the way forward until you can reach your toes, or reaching down towards your toes. If you need to keep a bend in your knees, feel free to do that. As you inhale, come into a flat back pose. As you exhale, go ahead and start to bend your knees deeply, but not having those knees jut out over top of your toes as you lift up into chair pose. And then go ahead and place the hands back on the mat. Lift those hips up as you exhale into forward fold again. We're going to step back with our right foot and then our left foot, coming into plank pose. If you need to, drop to your knees and then lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Inhale up into cobra. And then exhale all the way down. Tucking those toes, inhale. And then exhale into our plank pose once more. Keep exhaling as we come into downward facing dog. And then looking at your hands, you're going to step forward with your right foot. Then step forward with the left. Inhaling both arms up, out to either side. And then exhaling both arms down. Very good. We're going to start at the back of the mat once more. Kind of doing a few shoulder rolls. Again, checking in with your posture, making sure that your ankles are directly underneath your hips, your shoulders are stacked on top of those hips, your ears are in alignment with your shoulders. And just take a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, you're going to step forward with the right foot this time. Allowing that back heel to come up off of the mat. Your front knee is just bent slightly. And then when you're ready, you can either take your arms out to either side, or you can place them on your hands on your hips if that's more comfortable. And we're going to dip that back knee once more. Coming down and up, probably 4 or 5 times as your body allows. Again, you might notice that you feel stronger on one side than the other. That's okay. This is your friendly reminder that we don't use our bodies evenly throughout the day, so we're generally going to have that. One side feels stronger or maybe more flexible than the other. And when you're ready, you can come back up out of that. Drop those hands down. Take that back foot, step it in slightly, straighten both legs, and then fold forward over top of that front leg. Again, using your hands for support, whether that's there on your leg, or on your foot, or on either side of your foot. Taking a few deep breaths here. When you're ready, you can bend that front knee. You're gonna lift yourself up and also step forward to the front of the mat. So now we'll do sun salutation B on the other side. So we'll lift, inhale, arms up. Palms together as you exhale all the way forward. And go ahead and lift as you come into flat back pose. And then when you're ready, you're gonna shift those hips back and down. And then you're gonna lift your upper body up into chair pose. And then go ahead and place those hands on the mat once more, lifting those hips, exhale into forward fold. And then when you're ready, you're gonna go ahead and step your left foot back this time. And then your right. Coming into plank pose. And then either lower down or go ahead and come onto your knees and then lower down all the way to the mat. Untuck those toes and come up into cobra. Exhale all the way down. Inhale and tuck your toes. Exhale up into our plank pose. Keep exhaling as you shift your hips back, coming into down facing dog. Then looking forward, you're going to inhale and step forward with your left foot, and then your right foot. Coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat. Then inhaling, arms out to the side. And then coming all the way up, and then exhaling, arms down. Very good. Okay. We did it.
It's warming up.
I know, we're just warming up. We're gonna come to the long edge of the mat and come back into our one with A stance. And then first, again, standing nice and tall, thinking about elongating that spine. We're gonna go ahead and inhale, right arm up, and then exhale off to the left-hand side. You can use that left hand for support against your leg. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, come back to center. This time taking the other side, inhaling the left arm up, and then leaning off to the right side. Again, using that right hand for support. Again, checking in with your thought life and with your emotions. What are they telling you? What is the truth? When you're ready, you can come back to center. This time we're going to take our hands to heart center. We're going to turn our toes out at a 90 degree, not 90, 45 degree angle. And then go ahead and bend those knees deeply, coming into horse pose. Taking a nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, you're going to take those hands, place them on the mat in front of you, lift those hips, and then turn your toes toward the long edge of the mat once more. This time we're going to walk our hands around to the left side, turning the left toes toward the short edge of the mat. We're going to go ahead and take one hand to either side, and then we're going to allow that right heel to come up so that way you can turn your toes toward the short edge of the mat once more. Bend that front knee, and then once you've pressed both feet into the mat, go ahead and lift up, coming into crescent lunge. Then you may want to take your hands out to either side for a bit of balance. But today we're going to do a moving balance posture. So we're going to shift our weight forward, and then we're going to draw this back foot in. And then we're gonna step back behind us, coming back into our crescent lunge. Once more, taking those arms out to either side for balance, shifting your weight toward that front knee, and then bringing that back foot behind your left leg, stepping back, coming back into crescent lunge. We're gonna do that one more time. Arms out to either side, shift your weight forward, bring that back foot forward, and then step back, coming into crescent lunge. And then turning toward the long edge of your mat once more. You're gonna go ahead and inhale and then exhale forward. Taking some recovery breaths here. Finding a little bit of movement here if you need to. Or if you just need to stand up and shake out a leg, feel free to do that. When we're ready, we're gonna take our hands over toward the right foot, turning those right toes, go to the short edge of the mat, taking one hand to either side, and then allowing the back heel to come up off of the mat, turning those toes also to the short edge of the mat. I'm gonna bend that front knee. Then once we've pressed both feet into the mat, I'm gonna lift up into crescent lunge on the other side. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, taking those arms out to either side for balance. We're gonna start to shift our weight to that front leg. And then taking that back foot behind the right knee. We're gonna step back and then come back into our crescent lunge. Taking those arms out. And then shifting the weight forward, and step forward, bringing that left foot behind that right knee. And then stepping back into crescent lunge. Exhaling those arms down to either side. Taking a deep inhale as we shift forward for the last time. And then exhaling as we bring that back foot up, and back down. Again, inhaling, arms forward. Coming toward the long edge of the mat, inhaling, and then folding forward. That's the last part of our active section for today, guys. We're gonna go ahead and heel toe our feet together, so that way our ankles are directly underneath our hips. And then when you're ready, you're gonna bend your knees, placing your hands on your knees. You're gonna round yourself up slowly. Very good, coming back into mountain pose. And then we're gonna come into our balancing postures for today. So if you need to move to hold on to something, feel free to do that. We're gonna move into dancer pose today. So we're gonna shift our weight to our left foot, then draw our right foot up behind us, placing the top of that foot in the right palm of our hand. And you can stay here if this is comfortable for you today, or you can start to extend that left arm out in front of you, pressing the top of that right foot into the palm of the right hand. Moving into dancer pose. When you're ready, you can come back down the center. Release that down, step out, shake out that left foot. Coming back into our mountain pose. Again, feeling grounded and centered. Then we start to move the weight to the right foot. Bringing that left foot up behind us, placing the top of the foot in the left palm of the hand. And then go ahead and either stay here or start to move that right hand out in front of you, pressing the top of that left foot into the palm of the left hand as you move into dancer pose on the other side. Again, just going at your own pace, what feels comfortable in your body today. And then coming back down, stepping out of that, shaking out that right foot. And then we're gonna come back down onto our mats in our seated pose. So first we're gonna sit nice and tall. Again, thinking about that spinal alignment. And you might notice that I keep talking about spinal alignment today, and part of that is because we're also focusing on this shift from reacting to bringing our emotions into alignment as well. Taking a nice deep breath. Again, think about softening your tailbone down. That's going to engage the low abdomen across the front side of the body. And we're going to take our left hand down to the mat, inhale the right arm up, and then exhale off to the left hand side. And coming back to center, switching sides, right hand down, inhale left arm up, exhaling off to the right side. And then go ahead and come back to center. We're going to switch whichever leg is in front. And do the same thing. We're sitting nice and tall. This time we're going to start with the right side, taking our right palm down, inhale the left arm up, exhale off to the right side. Coming back to center, switching sides, taking the left palm down, inhale the right arm up, exhale off to the left hand side. And then coming back to center, we're going to go ahead and take those hands to the front of the knees, open up the chest as you look up toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, start to curve your back, arch your back, sit back on your tailbone, tuck your chin, your little mini cat-cow, and then just go at your own pace, opening up your chest, inhaling, and then exhaling at your own pace, sitting back to arch that back. Doing that maybe 5 or 6 times. When ready, you can come back to center. We're going to go ahead and extend our right leg out to the side here. We'll turn and face that long leg. And then instead of having a flat back, this time we're going to tuck our chin, round our shoulders down, and then start to fold forward slightly. So you're getting a nice stretch all along the tiny little muscles that are along the back there. When you're ready, you can roll up out of that, taking that other leg out to the side, bending the formerly straight leg in, turning to face that long leg. Again, you're going to tuck your chin, round your shoulders down, and then start to fold forward. So this move is really more about all those little muscles in your neck and shoulders and along the side of your spine there. It's less about trying to stretch out this hamstring or the inner thigh here. When you're ready, you can go ahead and sit up out of that. We're going to fold both legs and come back down to laying down on the mat. We're going to bring both knees into our chest. And just rock back and forth across that low back. Taking a nice deep breath here. And coming back to center. And extend the left leg down to the mat. leading the right knee in toward your chest. See if you can, as you exhale, just pull that knee in toward your chest a little further. And when you're ready, you can draw both knees into your chest once more, rocking back and forth across that low back. Coming back to center, leaning that left knee in. Go ahead and extend the right leg down toward the mat. Drawing that left knee in toward your chest. Breathing deeply as you do so. When you're ready again, bring both knees back into your chest, rocking back and forth across that low back. Then go ahead and come back to center, taking those feet down to the mat. And taking your hands down alongside your body once more. We're ending the same way that we started. So we're going to go ahead and press those palms gently into the mat for support. And drawing our knees up above our hips. Checking in with our low back. If it's getting strain put on it, then we're drawing our knees further in toward our chest. Our shins are up toward the ceiling. And then we're pointing our toes gently and then tapping one set of toes down to the mat and then the other set down. Again, engaging our core. Thinking about that abdominal wall across the front there. Continuing to breathe as we do this. And then bringing both of those feet back together, drawing the knees in toward the chest. And release those feet down to the mat. Heel toeing those feet out to either side of the mat. We're going to drop both knees in toward the center, just allowing those thighs to rest. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Again, checking in with yourself. What your emotions are telling you right now in this moment. Again, checking in with the truth. When you're ready, you can go ahead and heel toe your feet together once more. You're going to extend the right leg down, and then the left leg down. I encourage you to lift your arms up overhead as you inhale deeply for a full body stretch. And then go ahead and sweep those arms down alongside you. Allowing those feet to fall open. Checking in again with that low back space. If you need to bring your feet to the mat to help protect that low back space, you're welcome to do that. Just find a comfortable final relaxation pose. And while you rest here, let me read these lyrics from this. It's from an old worship song. But it says, God, you turn graves into gardens. You give beauty for ashes. You turn seas into highways. You are the only one who can. So often, again, we can have that moment of reaction and it's just kind of over the top, and we got to check in with ourselves, get calm, examine what's happening, figure out what we're feeling and what the truth is, and then take care of ourselves in that moment. But it's also helpful to remember that we have a God who loves us and who, no matter what's happening, no matter how bad it seems or how overwhelming it seems, that God turns graves into gardens, gives beauty for ashes, turns seas into highways. And so we can trust that He will also care for us in those moments too. Let's go ahead and take a few moments of silence, and then I'll pull us back together when we're ready. When you're ready, you can go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, turn gently to one side, and push yourself up into a seated position. And then if you'd like to, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. You can open up your hands, either on your knees, or you can place them on your heart if you would like, and then pray for us. God, you are God, and there is no one like you. For that, we're grateful. God, that you have the power to redeem every moment, no matter how overwhelming or how intense it might feel. God, would you continue to place the truth of who we are at the very core of who we are, and remind us of who you are, that you are good and that you love us. We love you, and we're thankful for this practice today, for the time that you're with us. Would you go with us throughout the rest of our day? In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And come